Hey guys, welcome to the Off the Script podcast with myself and Matt Tofton. Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you for having me back. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we kind of have these every maybe 3 months, it feels like, or something, where we have like almost like a scheduled thing. It seems like we always have a catch up. How are things with you?
Yeah, very good. Obviously, we've just been discussing obviously getting back to business from lockdown and gyms back open and everything. I've got no complaints. Work's busy, gym's busy. I'm all good.
Yeah. How have you tried to take advantage of like the demand at the minute? Because obviously we have just spoken about that, about like how everyone seems to be really on their fitness at the minute. It's almost like it's like having like the New Year's resolutioners, but now.
Yeah, I mean, we missed the January sort of
Yeah.
fitness boom, so maybe it's happening now. Like, I wouldn't say I'm taking advantage of it. I am busy. I'm very busy.
Yeah.
And I am getting new clients often, but I haven't actually advertised or done anything for a long time because I am just sort of that busy.
Yeah.
That I don't feel like I need to just keep advertising for more. I'm at a point where I am thinking about capping things. But I mean,
okay.
in the online coaching, more like people come and go. It's not some people's, like, you take a client on and sometimes they don't even get back to you because they realize that they actually have to do something.
Yeah.
So, and clients leave all the time. It's not a bad thing. Some people are just done. They've been with you for a long time and they're ready to sort of go on their own. Some people just don't like the lifestyle or things like that. But yeah, I don't think I'm necessarily taking advantage of it. I could be throwing out like things on social media on a daily basis, trying to get a load of more clients. But right now, I'm very happy with the amount that I've got.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting perspective to have, because I'm by no means in a position where I'm like, because I do coach and I'm not at the point yet where I've got an amount of clients to the point where I'm like, shit, I need to slow down on this. So do you have like a number that you're thinking about in your head that you're setting? Because I know a few other coaches have like numbers that they pick, especially if they're like prepping. I know some people like to limit clientels around like preps and stuff, so they don't like go too heavy on coaching while they're trying to sort their own stuff.
Yeah, no, I've never had a problem. Like it's good to keep your mind busy with other people sometimes. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Just sit around and be hungry?
Yeah.
I'm not one of those that sort of feels the stress of prep necessarily, and feels that I have to limit workload. It will probably be, I don't know, just if I ever get the feeling that I've just got too many clients. The way I manage it, like at the minute, I have my bodybuilders, and they check in sort of as and when. They don't have set check-in days, so I'll do their check-in, and then I might say to them, check in again in 3 days, check in tomorrow, check in 4 days, 5 days. And so
interesting.
So they sort of can check. My bodybuilders can check in sort of like 7 days a week, depending on who I've asked to check in when. And then other clients will be, I've got Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So I guess I do PT sort of. Well, I only do 1 hour a day for like 4 days a week, so it's not real, but that's in the morning. So I try to keep it to the weekend so I can get through things. I guess if I ever think, right, this is just taking too long now, like if I've got too many check-ins on one day and I don't want to branch out to another day, then I might just say, this is enough. And it depends, because you can have 20 clients checking on one day, and if all 20 check-ins are great, you're in a different mindset than if you get 20 people that waste your time. True. It also depends on like how the check-ins go or who they are. Like if you've just got people and you think people are just wasting my time, you might just end up getting a negative mindset and thinking, right, I'm not taking any more on. So that's why I haven't capped things yet, because it's sort of, I probably change my mind sort of every week about whether I can. So I'll just, if people come to me sort of organically as and when, I take them on. If I ever thought I was overstretched and that I couldn't provide a service for people, then I would limit numbers or just tell people that I'm not taking them on. But yeah, at the minute, things are good. I'm pretty busy, so no complaints.
We'll come back around to it as well, because just before we start, we were discussing Mr. Olympia, because obviously me and you were planning on last year attending. You were planning to compete as well, and how they shifted the Olympia and what's possibly going to happen in future, I guess. Are we going to have a Mr. Olympia that's moving around again?
I don't. I mean, I don't know whether I'd like to see that. I'm not like I say. I want to go to as many as I can go to.
Yeah.
And I guess if you get to see different parts of the world at the same time, then that's pretty cool, and it's a good experience. But then at the same time, like Vegas was cool when I went, and I would like to go back there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice you can sort of do everything at once rather than two separate sort of trips. But again, like I've not been to Florida.
Yeah. I will say you hit the nail on the head earlier with Florida. It is just a lot of theme parks and stuff like that, and beaches. Like I think, as someone who's not been to Vegas either, I think that would probably be the more fitting experience for the Olympia for me.
Yeah,
I think that'd be better. Obviously, I know I've spoken to people before who are like, oh yeah, they should do it where it's in like it ends up in New York or it ends up in like Boston or whatever. But I am sort of a bit more like, yeah, it should probably stay in Vegas. It just seems to make sense.
To be fair, I wouldn't mind it in New York. I like New York.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the weather again, like Vegas was hot when we went, but it was 40 degrees, but it was bearable.
Yeah.
I don't think New York could be bearable. Like
no, it's not. New York in summer is awful.
When I went to New York, it was winter.
Oh, did you? Oh, so was it really bad snow? Really bad snow, or
we went in mid to late February, so it didn't snow when we were there, but when we got there was snow on the ground. So but it was just nice. You could walk around.
Yeah.
But then my parents went later that year or the following year, and they went in September, and they said it wasn't like you were sort of just racing to get to the next place with aircon.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't sort of an enjoyable experience with the humidity.
It being inside the city as well versus outside the city is way different.
Yeah.
Like it feels like the city, you're just standing next to a radiator 24/7 pretty much. And as soon as you leave, you're actually like, it's bearable because you're outside the city and it's not like crammed in.
Yeah.
I could actually see that being awful if there's like a Mr. Olympia, a ton of bodybuilders backstage in Madison Square Garden or whatever, and everyone's just passing out from heat stroke.
Hopefully they've got aircon inside, so they should be all right.
You'd hope so.
But yeah, I'd like to see it back in Vegas, especially like Flex Lewis has just moved his gym out there, so it'd be nice to visit that as well.
So does he still have the one in Florida?
No, I think he's moved.
He moved all of his stuff over.
Yeah, and then the Olympia went the other way.
I wonder if that's why he moved it. Do you think it was like, because I know Jay Cutler as well. He has everything set up in Vegas, doesn't he?
Yeah, Jay Cutler's in Vegas.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the guys like sort of live out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Cutler originally went there because it was sort of the first like 24-hour sort of place. Everything was always open. You go and train when you want, get anything like food when you want. Plus, I think it was cheap when he went out there to set up like houses and stuff.
Interesting. Oh, Joe's here. Let's see if he actually managed to join.
Late.
He is. Oh. Here he is, late boy in his tank top.
Look at that.
In his wife beater.
It's almost the same colour as you.
Hello.
You've just got Osaka tattooed on your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hang on, Matt. You were a lot more tan the last time I saw you too.
I've been on sunbeds actually.
Have you?
I still,
I'm starting Thursday. So
starting. I love it. Is it going to be? Are you going to be doing it like scheduled weekly, Joe?
no, mate. It's going to have to be like 3 minutes twice a week. Otherwise, I'm going to look like a fucking orange or something.
Yeah. You're going to do 2 doses.
Yes.
Once a week.
Microdosing it, mate.
Microdose sunbeds. Excellent. Can you not do more than like 3 or 4 minutes then in one go?
I don't know. I've never been on before.
Oh, have you never been on one? Oh,
funny enough.
Funny. It makes sense. It makes sense.
What have I missed?
I could do. When I actively use sunbeds, which is very rarely, it's like 10 minutes, and that's me. I'm good to go.
There is a racial difference here.
The melanin does help me, I will say.
Yeah.
All right then. We were talking about the Olympia in Vegas and all that jazz.
Okay.
And obviously because Flex has moved his gym over to Vegas, and then also you have Jake Cutler and people like that who live out there. So, would you like to see, Joe? Would you like to see Vegas back? Would you like to see the Olympia back in Vegas?
Not really bothered, to be honest.
Fair enough.
I'd like to. It'd be nice if it went like externally from Vegas.
Yeah.
But then again, I'd just prefer if the other shows were more grand as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the one in Portugal. Like they always have good production value and things like that with guys coming through the floor. Like that's.
I agree with that actually. Yeah.
If one person can do it, why not everyone? You know?
Well, what other has there ever been any other sort of bodybuilding shows and stuff that have that kind of thing where they have like they blast smoke out from the sides of the stage and shit when people walk on? Like, how often do you have that really?
Is there not? Is it Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Monsters in Pro.
Yeah, they put a fucking show on. They make a real song and dance of everything. It always looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I feel like we need more of that stuff.
I don't know. It's like that's not my kind of thing. Like I don't go to see I want to just see the bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Just I do like the black backgrounds with nothing in the background.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of the time, you see them on stage and they've got ridiculous like when it's got like too many like LCD screens and stuff in the background, and it almost detracts from the physique.
I will say, if the stage looks like a DJ set, that's a bit much for me. But I'm okay with a few, like, especially like the one thing that Monsters Inc. always does right, because I like seeing some of the videos for their like the solo like posing routines and stuff. How they set everyone up to walk out on stage, name on a giant board like across the back, pictures flashing everywhere, fucking smoke coming out the back of the stage, the person walks out, and then it's black background, and then they actually hit their poses and the lighting's good and all that stuff. I think for that makes sense, versus like you see a lot of shows the person will just walk out on stage to do their posing routine, and I will say it's a bit, there's not a lot to it. I feel like there needs to be more to it, because if it's like the posing routine and the posing round is kind of a bit more of an exhibition, I think, than the rest of it.
For the fans.
Yeah, so I think making a bit more of that would be good.
Yeah.
Did we get into what Matt's been up to the past 7 months?
Not really. We haven't really touched upon it actually. I was waiting for you, Joe. We both were.
Fair enough. Well, Matt, what have you been up to the last 7 months? You really needed me for that. I feel privileged.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Same, like pretty much the bodybuilder lifestyle, unfortunately, which is
chilling out.
Not overly exciting for most people, but yeah, just doing the same stuff. Ate a lot of food, got fat. Now started prep, less fat.
How fat did you get this time versus last time? Because I remember seeing like a pretty good transformation last time where you got pretty fluffy before pulling it all off. So,
to be honest, I probably got to the same level.
mm.
I think I always find pretty like towards the end of prep, I always sort of end up at the same spot. Like I always between this year from mid-December to till early April, I was on just TRT. So with a lot of food going in and no drugs, it's very easy sort of just to get fat or a little bit fatter and softer and fluffier or whatever. But it was good for my blood work. I need to do it. And now the drugs went back in sort of start of April, and things have been happening fast for the last month and a bit. What, month and a half now? June now, aren't we? So yeah, pretty much. I pretty much started back on when the gyms opened. So I'm about 8 weeks into that, and initially I think I started prep at about 250, and I'm pretty much the same weight now, but just a very different composition. Drugs have been doing their work as they do. So yeah, but in terms of what we're doing, just training, eating, same old. Unfortunately, nothing overly exciting in my life.
What was your stage weight last time? Was it in the 240s, 230s, 240s? I can't even remember.
It's all an illusion.
I was 218.
I mean, there was at least 20 pounds in the arms. So
yeah, I was 218 last year.
218, Jesus.
Fuck a load bigger than 218 in the flesh.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing, isn't it? The illusion is there. So we're thinking what, in the 220s?
Yeah, well, the goal is be heavyweight still, which the cutoff's 225.
Okay.
And I don't really want to have to fuck about to make the weight. But now that the Amateur Olympia switched the Arnold Classic and they've pulled like loads of the pro cards, you got to win the overall anyway. So it doesn't matter. Like even if I win the heavyweight, it's gonna have to beat the super. So whether I'm a super or not. But I don't think the goal. I think last year's condition was good, but I think chasing a pro card it's got to be better.
Yeah.
So even if I can be the same weight as last year, but whatever's gone on this year, that much weight, better condition, literally like inside out.
What qualifier are you doing?
Well, that's not a fucking qualifier, is it? Graftism.
Oh, same as everybody.
Yeah, the one that's obviously right before the Arnolds. It's a lot of bullshit. I'm not happy about it.
It is a bit.
Yeah,
it's a ridiculous rule. They should just say you have to qualify. They should make people be of a standard. So, because I'm not taking it seriously. The show's on a Sunday. I'll be traveling on the thing is, like, for me, and the problem I have with Two Bros is they have all these regional qualifiers in the same fucking venue. That's not how regional works.
Yeah,
regional qualifiers should be in regions.
Yeah.
But no, they're all in London.
Excellent.
So I don't understand how they can call it a regional.
Yeah.
Because they're not in my region. Like if there was one around the corner, I'd be dead happy.
I was talking to Andy Scott about it the other day, and he was like, "It's not my fucking region." Coming
that's when he has to think how far he has to travel. Like it's fucking stupid. Like I've got an 8-hour round trip, and I'm moaning. Like probably triple that for them. Like it's fucking stupid. And the fact is that it means absolutely nothing.
What is the logic behind that? I'm trying to figure out what is their thought process of that being a good idea for them. Other than
money.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else really, is there?
Well, there isn't, because like you say, I could go to the one next week and turn up like this, 30 pounds overweight, hairy and pale. And that makes me eligible. I'll get on stage and I can embarrass the federation.
Yeah.
Who's this fat fuck on stage?
Yeah.
And I'm just getting my ticket to the Arnold.
Crazy shit.
Because you can come dead last. Like I say, if they want to make it actually mean something, they should say you have to finish in a top 6 or actually be awarded an invite.
Yeah.
But it's just eligible, like an eligibility thing, like a participation show.
Yeah.
But it's just so you have to pay the qualifying fee.
Yeah.
But it's just a massive inconvenience to everyone that has to do it.
Yeah.
Because everyone has to travel to London. Unless you live in London, it's a ball ache.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no opportunity to do them anywhere else.
I hope that by the time we get round to maybe next year or the year after, we'll have some change around in terms of how stuff is run, because I still feel like a lot of the federations right now are in like a state of flux just because of everything that's happened in the past year. And if there's a heavy amount of like feedback off of you guys, hopefully that'll transfer over and will actually cause a bit of change.
I don't know.
Let me shut my window 1 second. Some hoe is being loud outside.
He's just, he runs a brothel, you see.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I don't think 2 bros will change their ways, to be honest.
It'll be 4 bros next year.
Yeah, even before lockdown, like everything was all down in London.
Yeah.
I mean, the only one that's not is fucking the Arnolds
in Birmingham.
Yeah. So
yeah, weird that.
That's the thing, and even that got fucked around, didn't it? Because it was supposed to be an amateur Olympia, and now the amateur Olympia is in Denmark. So, so it makes no fucking sense. I'm not traveling to Denmark.
Yeah. Who is? Who is?
So yeah, like I say, my opinion is just money orientated. There are reasons behind most things.
That is the IFBB though, in a nutshell. It seems like for the most part, I will say. Like I think that's the upper management of the IFBB before this past year was just all money orientated because it was run by who owned it. I can't remember who it was.
It was split, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You got Raf Santoa and then somebody else.
I can't remember who the other guy, but basically the other person who owned, like, I'm assuming 51%, was just trying to make a money scheme off of it. And as a result, it devalued it over the course of a decade. And then they sold it in the past year or whatever, to someone who actually gives a shit about bodybuilding. It's owned by the guy behind Wings of Stress.
That's just the Olympia, though, isn't it?
Is that just the Olympia?
Yeah, Jim Mannion's still in charge of the Pro League.
Who's the other guy? Who's the other hand then in it? Because I know there's someone else.
I don't think there is. I think it's just in terms of the president of the Pro League is Jim Mannion. Obviously, you've got other people in terms of like different shows and stuff like that. Like that bloke who he bought the rights to the Olympia, didn't he? He was the can't remember his name. But yeah, even like obviously a lot more pro cards is a lot more $250 a year. Yeah. But they are a business, and there's some things that they still have to make money. But it's almost when they could still make a lot of money, but still do a little bit more for the bodybuilders, I think.
Yeah. Well, obviously, last time we spoke to you, you had no intention of competing with the 2 bros so soon. You wanted to win PCA British and everything.
I know, and because this year I'd made the decision that I was going to do it, but I wanted to do it all. So the plan was PCA British, PCA Universe, then on the 21st of November, Amateur Olympia. And then they took the Amateur Olympia from the 21st of November and put it in front of all the other shows. And I'd already made my mind up that I wanted to have a crack at the pro card. So then that sort of threw a spanner in the works that I wasn't. obviously prep had to, because then I have to be almost ready on the 5th of September. So prep had to jump forward sort of 6 weeks. And I thought, I don't really, if I'm setting my stall out and saying the goal's a pro card, I don't want to be one of those people that just sort of, if it doesn't happen, then go, oh, well, now I'll go for like second best or whatever, because I've got a goal for the year and I don't want to go, oh, well, I'll just go for this now. Like I'll set my sights, and what will be. So
I think in terms of the goal of being a pro for you, I honestly don't think it's unfeasible. Really, it's a realistic in the sense of you have proven over the course of the past decade that you are really in the top bracket of amateurs in the UK. Obviously, especially last year with your wins and stuff then in the PCA.
I wouldn't, if I didn't think I was in with a shout. Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. The Arnold is going to be packed. It's the first big show where people are going to be able to have had a lot of months training under their belt. And it's been, and like you say, it's the first UK Arnold, so it's a big event, and I think everyone's pretty excited to do it. I said it to a few people that I saw last week that I honestly think this Arnold Classic is going to be like UK BFF British finals of old, where cracking the top 6 is going to be like a massive achievement. I think it will be that stacked that if you finish in the top 6, you are good.
I think that's how it should be, though, right? Like
it should be, but we'd be missing that with the big split of everything. Like PCA came in and some stuck to NABA, some did PCA. Like the British finals have not been, like UK BFF was always sort of where the best went.
Yeah.
And then it got diluted where a bit went to NABA and a bit went here and a bit went to Two Bros.
Yeah.
And you didn't almost get like the best in the country all going up against each other. I honestly think for the first time in a long time, the Arnold Classic will bring that. I think a lot of people are all going to be there. I think I don't know a lot of heavyweights, to be honest, but I've seen.
No, I was going to say, like, especially in the British scene, like.
That's what I mean. I'm sure there's a lot. People will pull names out, and I'll be like,
I'm sure.
But in terms of the supers, like,
there's loads. Yeah.
I've seen like 10 doing it, and they're all phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just the ones I know, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. And then you've got people coming from abroad, I imagine, still. Like, travel will probably be open a bit more by then.
Is Ross a heavyweight or light heavyweight?
Well, he won the heavyweights, didn't he?
Yeah.
At the last show. But is he a heavyweight?
That's what I mean.
He only just saw he did his first show, wasn't he? And he was a light heavyweight. So he's I mean, and I think his plan's the British or whatever. He's had a long season. Is he going to carry on? Like, the problem is the shows are so spread out. Like, even like the British this year, when is it? Like 1st of August or something. Yeah. So then it's another 2 months until the Arnold. Like, that's a long season. But yeah, long gone are the days where I go and scroll Instagram and look for who I'm going up against anyway. Like, it's fucking pointless.
Doesn't matter.
But like, I don't keep an eye, but I honestly genuinely don't know too many heavyweights.
Yeah. I think next time I compete, I'm definitely going to be a bit more like that. Though when I compete, I was always considered about, is there someone who's as tall as me? Because that was like, because I'm like 6'1"ish. This was like my logic in my head at the time. I was like, I'm 6'1". If there's someone who's my height and bigger than me, I am just completely fucked, because that, like, at that point, there's just a bigger, better me then, because there wasn't that many people who were taller than me. Didn't end up mattering anyway, as I find out, because all the people who beat me who were shorter than me.
Like
so
5'6.5", yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think next time I compete, I will just eyes on my own stuff, stay in my own lane a lot more.
It's going to be weird because
I was talking about it to someone today. Like, bodybuilding is sort of one of the only sports where no one can actually affect you.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you're doing, it doesn't detract. Like, just if someone over there is training really hard, it doesn't mean you can't be training hard.
Yeah.
Like, then even like you in like boxing and things like that, or any sort of competitive sport, or most of anyway, you're up against someone who can actually do something. When you just stood on stage next to someone in your pants, like, if they're better than you, they're better than you, but they can't do anything to affect you.
Yeah. So
just get your head down, and most people, I say most, nobody looks like they do on Instagram. You have people that look amazing on Instagram, and then you see them in real life and look shit. And you have people that look shit on Instagram, and you see them in real life and they look amazing.
I would say you're the second.
So, like,
I think the garden pictures are good, mate. You look good.
They are, but then it doesn't carry like the roundness that you have in person. So I was shocked. Like,
I always get told that every time I see someone new that I've never seen in person before, they always say that, oh, you're a lot bigger in real life than on Instagram. Yeah. And I'll take that every day. If someone ever said to me, oh, you look better on the internet, I'd think I'd die.
I think that's the same with me, to be fair. Most people don't, they forget.
Yeah, but Jermaine, no, people only see this.
That's true. Yeah. They see this and like the shelf.
You don't fucking share any pictures.
I know. That's why. I think that's more entertaining for me, actually.
I sent Matt a question over that we had earlier.
Yeah.
I got 2 questions that we can sort of close with. So the first one was the true cost of bodybuilding and how, say, a month. I don't know how you, or if you did it.
Of course I did it. I did my own work for you.
What a legend. So we went through food, supplementation, train, whatever you need, gear, whatever. So yeah, if you want to have a rundown.
It's going to be really disappointing, actually, because I'm going to look like one of them shitty bodybuilders that spends more on drugs and supplements than I do on food.
Oh. Matt shops at Aldi. We know that now.
I do shop at Aldi. Hey, Aldi meat is good. It's fucking
Aldi,
good.
I will say I have shopped at Aldi.
Of course, man. I shop there for everything apart from the meat. I've been converted to the butchers.
Oh yeah, you're all on butchers fancy stuff right now, aren't you?
The thing is, right, I should have been on butchers stuff because Lee's uncle owns a butcher's. Lee's mum is a butcher. Lee's brother was a butcher, but he just changed job. And Lee's dad was also a butcher.
You could take such advantage of that.
And we shop at Aldi.
Unreal.
Matt, can you put a word in? Can we have a meat spot for the podcast?
To be fair, I did also used to work at a butcher's.
That's all. I'd love to learn the trade of butchery.
There's not a lot to it, mate. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of it is.
Hold on, you mean you pick sausages up and put them in bags? Like, that's not being a butcher. There's skill to being a butcher to actually take
okay, there is, but there's a lot of. It's a lot of like simple shit. Like making a sausage is not fucking difficult.
Yeah, I know, but
you have a mix.
Off a cow is
a fucking mincer, a machine, and it has there's literally a sausage condom, and you pump the meat into that, twist, tie it off, done.
So if I gave you a cow, you could get me all the cuts of meat.
That's a bit different because
shit. That's what butcher is.
Because a slaughter. There's a rent boy. Straight up butchers and a slaughterhouse. Those are different things. You'll very rarely go into a butcher's and find a butcher's in the back with a whole fucking cow.
That's not true, actually.
That's not true.
M&M Meats in Worcester, they chop that shit up fresh for me. I hear the bones cracking in the background.
Yeah, you do. You get that, but you have like the meat locker where you have like half a cow hanging up. But
that's not a metaphor for anything, is it?
No, for fuck. I give up on this. Carry on. Let's move on. I give up.
Anyway, let's go. The cost of one.
See, I sort of jotted down. It's gonna be a little. I'll just go back to my notes. So, food-wise, I think I may have worked this out wrong, But I sort of worked out my meals and stuff, and I think I only spend like £150 a month on food.
Really?
Okay.
I mean, that's now.
It is Aldi. Bear that in mind.
So maybe like in the off season that would possibly go up, but like not by loads.
Yeah.
Like
how much of that breaks down into just being meat?
Probably not that. I think.
Just Sass prefers fattier sources of meat, though, doesn't he?
No, well, I have lean mince,
Really?
and like chicken. Like so for meal one, like eggs, and I've actually gone over the top, like what it would cost. I get my eggs for free.
Yeah.
So I don't spend anything on eggs. So eggs and oats, like ready bread. What the fuck are you doing?
What is this angle, mate?
Sorry, mate.
Look at your fucking egg. What is going on?
I need a new phone, man.
Can see up your nostrils, mate. Okay.
Oh
Jose is gone.
Fucking hell.
Carry on, mate.
I just don't want it to die. It's died on the last 2 podcasts. So I don't want it to die.
Okay.
But I have eggs and I have ready bread. Like that's cheap as fuck.
Yeah.
And then the next meal I have burgers and kilo. I go through a kilo of 5% mince every 2 days, but that's like £5 for 2 days. Right. Buns. Buns are cheap as fuck.
How much protein are you actually eating?
Like direct protein.
Yeah, direct.
About 250.
Okay. So you've got some of that from mince, and then I assume some from whey, I guess, and then eggs.
Don't overcomplicate it. The facts and the figures, Jimmy.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm just trying to figure out that.
I'll have eggs in the morning.
Yeah.
Then I have two mince meals, a chicken meal, and then my pre-shake is Pepto Pro and EAAs.
Easy enough.
So like I say, my diet's very straightforward.
So
my carb source is what's that?
4 meals?
5.
5 meals.
Yeah, 2 mince, chicken, egg.
Yeah, right.
Pepto Pro, EAA. And then my carb sources, I have rice, buns, rice, bread, and oats.
Good stuff.
So, like I say, nothing fancy. My food itself is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Like I've seen. I mean, ever since I started bodybuilding, my goal was always to try and get a meal as close to £1 as possible. Like I always thought, if I could spend about a quid per meal, like that's pretty good. Like, I see some people with some extravagant fucking meals, and I'm like, and it confuses me a little bit. Like some people literally spend like, it's like, oh, well, let's just chuck a load of prawns in there. Like, fucking, that's £4, mate. Like, like daily,
100 grams, yeah.
Like, so
I'm currently on the chicken.
Christian, we're talking to you.
Huh?
So yeah, I've always sort of, I think since I started bodybuilding, like I've always tried to keep my diet pretty simple, pretty cheap. Like I'm not going to go out and spend like loads of money on like special shit. Cookies, they're pretty expensive. I get them on high days. High days add a little bit of expense.
Cookies just breaking the budget. That's what does it.
But I still use Tesco's. Like,
yeah.
When you had a club card, they're only £1, but they stopped that. So that's fucked me off. Then supplement wise, I've put down about £400 a month.
Okay.
But that's literally everything. Like, and I'd probably go over the top on most of that's health supplements.
Yeah,
and
that'd be the case. Yeah,
and I do go a little bit over the top with that.
Would you argue that going over the top is even going over the top if it's an assurance? Like,
oh no, like I don't think you can try and like if you. I mean, at the end of the day, you're never going to be healthy taking gear, but it's all maybe trying to prevent something or help a little bit here. And the more help you can get, the better. I think if you're gonna spend somewhere, like and you can sort of afford to do so, when I'd be taking all the health supplements possible, right? But I mean, you could probably get away with less. But the thing is that I'm also sponsored, so again, for me, like it's one of those weird things when you start out as a bodybuilder, it's expensive, and then sort of a bit like when you start getting rich, people want to give you shit for free, right? And the poor people still struggle.
Weird dynamic.
But again, like I say, so I'm sponsored, so that helps me out with my supplements and things like that. But if I was going to have to put like a value on something, like if just like not sponsored, I think it would be somewhere around that. And then drugs wise, again, up near £400 a month. But that £300 a month for that is growth hormone.
Okay.
So like not loads on drugs.
So what we're talking then?
Talking like with GH or without it, you're looking between 500 and 800 a month.
No, that was with.
No, yeah, that's
the 400. The 400's with GH.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So total together, everything
be like 650, 650.
What? Everything all included?
All together.
What?
What?
If you're doing 400,
it's about
400 on stops. Yeah,
okay.
Something like that. So.
It's about grand a month.
Okay. Huh.
Which,
there you go, guys. And I assume that's like when we talk about gear and health supplements, you're at, like, these are quality. This is quality stuff as opposed to because you can't skimp out on this kind of stuff. That's the thing.
No, I think if you're gonna afford to spend £400 on drugs, spend £400 on things that are going to help you not die from taking them drugs.
Good logic.
There's a lot of people. Again, I guess, I mean, there's probably other things you go in there, like get blood work done every so often, and bit like the actual then competing, and like I probably missed, like, obviously I don't have a gym membership, like, because I have a gym, but like some people like put a gym membership on that, and then I guess if you're a female, 500 quid on a bikini, like some things like the competitive side of things can be a bit sort of mental, but most people spend £1,000 on a camera so they can do vlogs, so before they can even train. So I guess it balances itself out.
I hope he's not throwing shade at us, Jermaine.
Nah, mate, my one was only like 100 quid, so can't be me.
You boys, it's all right. But yeah, like I think like anything, you can bodybuild on a budget. Like,
yeah.
I don't do anything else really. Like, and I don't even really know about. I'm not even sorry. Like, I don't go out and eat food. I don't.
I will say it's gotten increasingly more rare for me to do that the more I've been doing bodybuilding.
I don't. Like if I went out on a night out on a weekend, I'd spend 200 quid.
Yeah.
Like, and then obviously, like, I don't do that. So
yeah.
It may sound like a lot, but I think loads of things end up costing a lot more money than you even realize.
Yeah.
But I could do it a lot cheaper. Like I say, like, is growth hormone necessary? I think it has good benefits, and I think, but I could easily just pull £300 a month out there. And again, I guess it depends also where you live and who your drug dealer is.
Yeah.
Like, because I've seen some prices that are mental. I speak to clients all the time, and they tell me that they've been charged this, and this, and I think it's absolutely like ridiculous.
What is, in your opinion, the correct or going rate for something like that?
Theoretically,
not that anyone is going to,
I mean, obviously it depends what we're talking about, like in terms of what drug, but
let's go with GH. Let's go with GH.
That depends what you're buying. Like, I'm fortunate I know someone who knows someone who knows someone, and I get prescription stuff, and I get it at a very good price. Like I say, I think if a drug dealer was selling this, they'd sell it at 3 times what I pay for it.
Yeah.
So, but I think if you get like a decent generic, like 100 IU or something, like 150 quid's a nice price. I think most people would be happy to pay. But yeah, I see some people paying like £300 for fake shit.
Yeah.
is a minefield. Let's be honest. Like people,
Same as everything, though.
it's drug dealing.
And that is the true price of bodybuilding right there.
Well, if we're going to get to the true price of it, then
the money you waste on the fake shit, that's the expensive side.
I've done it before.
Yeah, I think most people probably will have done. Aside from me, I'm natty. Yeah. Just a reminder for everyone at home.
We don't know these days, you mean? You don't show any.
Actually, Liam is sending me a sort of natty, sort of not hoodie. I'm playing into the joke as much as possible.
Terrible.
Take some drugs.
Nah, not yet. Not yet. One more season as a natty, mate. One more season.
You're already planning on going on drugs in a year?
No.
You just said.
I've got one more season as a natty junior, right? Which is accurate.
Senior.
Well, I could. It doesn't mean that I won't be doing more natty shows. It just means I've got one more season as a natty junior that I could do. So
before you hit the age gap.
Before I hit the age gap, and then
all right,
we'll see what happens.
So that wasn't you saying, "I'm going on drugs in a year."
Good save, Jermaine. Good save.
That's what it sounded like.
When the physique updates start coming every day, we'll know. You know.
Yeah. When I make like a year's progress in about 2 months, it was like, oh, hang on a second.
Did you have any questions?
Do I have any questions?
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't got much battery left, so I don't want to ask the next one because it's quite a long question.
One that I did see earlier was, when is everyone next competing? Which is just such a generic fucking question.
Next year, I'll be doing my first competition.
Next year, that'll be my last junior season.
I've got one more after that if I choose to. I don't know. As long as I can keep my health in check, I'll be fine. So.
Okay. Oh, okay. So one of the questions was, we have this a lot, to be fair, bodybuilding and relationships, and obviously yourself and Mrs. Tofton competed last year.
We did.
So I guess what they're wondering about is, how does that dynamic work? What's that like?
It was actually a really good prep. Like, obviously, we both competed at the same weekend, and we didn't have any more arguments than.
I remember seeing all the stuff around it because obviously we spoke right beforehand, and then obviously you're in Birmingham as well. So from what I saw of you guys competing, you were both very on it. Both enjoyed the experience, at least from the outside. So
yeah, it was like I say, that prep was really good. Like, I mean, it's sort of what, even though it was her first prep or her first time competing, like she's dieted, or like obviously she lived the life, like trained and things for a long time, and obviously been around me for years doing it. So there was nothing really. It wasn't like it was two hungry, angry people just like not getting along.
Yeah.
It was actually, to be honest, it was probably one of the best preps I've ever had. I mean, I've had preps before where I'm 2 weeks out and she's sat on the sofa with Dominoes. Obviously, like
the worst.
But that stuff like that just does not bother me.
Yeah.
I actually think if I was that way inclined, that would be worse. Like if you have, because I see some people that compete and they've got a very unsupportive partner. Or maybe they're supportive in act or in their words, but at the end of the day, why should they give up their life at the same time? And
for sure,
some people don't deal with that very well. Like I've seen people get pissed off because their missus is sat there eating stuff in front of them. It's like, well, hold on.
Yeah.
Like, you made the choice to compete.
Yeah.
I'm not that way inclined. Like, I don't care. Like, I could sit there and like, she could literally put it under my nose and it wouldn't bother me in the slightest. We'd just laugh about it. I think the fact we were both working towards something at the very same time, it was great. And it actually helped me. Like my biggest issue with competing is always show day stress. Now never been very good at managing it.
Hmm.
And because I was almost more focused on keeping her calm on the Saturday, I didn't really have time. And the advice I was giving her, I sort of had to then take it myself the next day. I'm like, I couldn't sit there and be hypocritical. So, and I mean, when she was on stage, I was a fucking wreck. Like that was like when I compete, like I have no nerves, like nothing. But that was horrible. Like sitting in the crowd and watching her, like I think I lost about 5 pounds. Like it really, really was like. So when people say, "Oh, don't get stressed before a show," like, yeah, don't have your missus competing the day before you, because it really, really was.
It's funny, like, because I've never been on that end of this, like the other side of it, like, and I think a lot of people who compete probably will never be on that side of it, where they'll have someone else, like a significant other or a family member, and having to watch them do that, and the nerves that they must have from watching someone do that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Like,
and then obviously she won the overall, so then put the pressure on me that I had to go and do the same.
It's all good though. You delivered, mate.
Fortunately, otherwise, right, I'd have been a fucking loser.
That was. Can you imagine if you both competed and then your missus, who's never competed before, cleans up the show, and then there's you, like you don't place? That'd be a bit shitty, wouldn't it?
I'm fuming.
High expectations.
It's actually a shame that she didn't, because obviously she did the first timer show. But the next day, the girl that won the overall, Lee beat the day before. So if she'd have competed on the same show as me, we'd have both been up there. That'd have been like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
If we could have both had pictures of the same show on the same stage with the overall trophies. I don't know whether that had ever been done before.
Yeah, that's rare. Yeah.
But like I say, it was a great weekend, and the whole prep was great. And we're both on prep again now. She's doing the PCA British Finals, which so I'm 2 weeks before her.
Good stuff.
So
has she like officially sort of caught the bug then, the bodybuilding bug?
Mate, she had it like well before. Like she's been a bodybuilder for years
before she even stepped on stage.
Yeah, like you should see her train. Like she's an animal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to train with her, to be honest. She's like, and she was never really, although it was her first time on stage, like she had muscle, like lots of muscle.
Yeah.
And she's made big improvements this year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her get on stage again. But yeah, she's just fucking. What's that?
Did she work with Dan?
Yeah.
We got Dan on Friday. We're talking to Dan on Friday.
Well, you're coming.
No, he's going to come on the podcast.
Oh, Dan is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Dan.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah.
I actually do like Dan. I'm not saying that.
It's just the way you said it. I was like, oh.
No, I'm good friends with Dan. We get on well.
Good stuff.
He is very, very good at what he does. I say I have a lot of sort of females that message me about prep, and I don't prep females, and I send them all to Dan because obviously I've seen firsthand how he works with Lee and how he treats Lee, and he is very, very good at what he does.
So the secret's out. Dan Welburn success is all down to Matt Tofton.
Yeah. Go spread that around. We'll tell him you said that when we have him on.
That's fine. You tell him.
Joe, is this what your dinner plate is?
I can't fucking help it, mate. I'm on 2%, so the phone is fucked.
It's just quite the angle.
I was on 82% when we started the podcast. It's gone. It's all gone. And I can't charge it from that because the charging port is broken. We have to like put it on. We
need to get you an upgrade as a off the script business expense.
Yeah. Fuck.
Right. Do we want to do? Because I know Joe, you want to get off, don't you?
I don't think we want to get off.
Okay.
I've got no choice.
Oh, okay. Matt, do you want to carry on for a bit, or do you want to keep it short and sweet?
We can carry on for a little bit. I've got some food to eat in a bit, but yeah, we can.
Okay, good stuff. We could just carry on for a little bit longer then. So I'm trying to think where to go with this conversation.
Brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
Huh?
So, Matt, do you want to carry on?
I'm trying to think where we're going. Considering the last that we talked about was...
I can say the question that I had, but I'm probably not going to be here to answer it. So
go for it. Why not?
The question was, what does it truly take to push the boundaries and reach new weights in bodybuilding? That's
a great question.
So, is it like body weight?
Yeah. So in body weight and progressing the physique once you've already hit a good competitive level. So say you maybe 3-4 years ago.
To be honest, I think people hit a certain body weight quite early on.
Yeah.
That never really gets surpassed. Like when I did a big off season with a lot of food and I got very, very fat, like in 2000 and it was for the 2014, so 2013 to 2014 season. So my third year, like I ended up a very, very, very shit, messy, like mid 260s. And it was bad. And then I came down, and I've never ever really like gone massively past it, considering I've done another 6-7 years of bodybuilding. But what happens is I think that your peak weight just gets better every time. I don't think you necessarily end up right. Last year I was 270, or last year I was 250. This year I've got to be 260. Then this year I've got to be 270. I just think that when you get to that weight, you're just better at it. And then when you diet, you just don't end up going lower. So I don't think it's necessarily about always taking body weight up. Like I've had years where I've improved where I've been lighter in the off season, and I've made improvements. So
did you push hard this season or not?
What's that?
Did you push hard this season or
no? Not really. I think like food, eating's never really a problem for me. Like, and I didn't even. How heavy did I get this year? I think I probably hit about the same weight as I did last year, but I think the biggest part for me is usually in the rebound. I always try and take advantage of the rebound, and
for sure.
I ended up at about 255 post rebound, like so 37 pounds on, but I look very, very good.
Yeah.
That's probably a point where I cut the drugs and I should probably actually pull back on food and almost try and just hold it there. But I don't. I just keep eating, and then that's where shit just gets a bit sloppy.
Yeah.
And then I probably lose a bit of muscle or definitely a lot of fullness from the drugs. But then I always start my prep so far out that I get to start not dieting as such, put drugs back in and eat for a bit more. So I started at 250 on prep, and then I went up to like 262, 263. And then from there, I've just changed. Right. It's not like, right, we just got to get lean now, and then you just dig in a hole and you're trying to come down. Like, so I think we started, and then I just chipped away, and then I sort of hit 250 and we refeed. I went to 255 and then hit 249 and refeed back. And it's just sort of been back and forth. But every time I come back down to the same weight, the look's a bit different, and the look's a bit different. And that's almost what happened last year. I think last year I started prep at 237 and I got on stage at 218. So in terms of start of prep to end of prep, I only actually like lost 19 pounds, but the look was completely different. So I think we always do things a bit differently. Like if you start your prep on like I did with 4 months of literally no drugs, you're going to grow into the show. You're not going to grow into the show if you've been hammering drugs the whole way. Like it's not going to happen. So I don't think you necessarily always have to be heavier in the off season than the previous year to improve. I always just say that I can't not improve. Literally the way I live my life and everything I do, it's impossible to not get better. I can't train the way that I train day in, day out eat the way that I do day in, day out, and ever go backwards. Like, it's not important. Like, it's not possible. And I don't need to, that's all I need to know. Like, I don't need logbooks to say, oh, you're building muscle. I don't need certain things, because I just know that the way I conduct myself 365 days a year, by the time I come around to get on stage, like, I can't not be better. Like, it might not always be 10 pound of muscle. It might, on the scale, I might be lighter, but the look will be better. Like, and that's all bodybuilding is about.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. It doesn't matter what you weigh at all. It's about how heavy you look.
Yeah.
And how you look. Like, some people might just add like a couple of, like, literally fuck all, but it's just in the right places, and it completes a look. It, like, you can be totally transformed with a pound. Yep. Like, as long as it's in the right place, or you can just work on pulling your waist in, or getting a little bit better condition. It's not always about, I've got to be heavier and build more muscle. You've actually just got to come in looking a better bodybuilder every year. And I think there's numerous ways you can sort of achieve that. I think when you're starting out and you're trying to grow, like, just put food away and just train hard. And again,
stuff will happen.
Yeah, just have that faith. Like, there's no way, like, if you're doing everything properly, like, if you leave no stone unturned and you know that every single day has been a good day, like, if 3 days out of your week, you know, you've been shit and you aren't eating your food and you've been on the piss, or you've not trained hard and do that, don't expect to improve. But if you can be honest with yourself and look in the mirror and say, yeah, every single day I did everything right and I trained to the maximum and I pushed myself to the limit, there's no way you can't get better. And that's all I need to know. I just got to have faith. I think too many people think there's a way of almost saying, like, I always say, like, muscle building is very, very difficult, very, very different to prep. When you're prepping, you can physically see fat coming off. You can see changes, like, almost on like a weekly basis down to then a daily basis as things move. Details come through and things change. When you can literally gain what? Let's say in a really, really good year, 10 pound of muscle. Like, you break that down into how much that is a day.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking unnoticeable. Break that down to a week, it's unnoticeable. And then the tiny little bit of fat that probably comes with that, like, you can't see it adding up. Like, there's no test you can do. Like, no, oh, I got stronger, so I'm definitely building muscle, or this or that. You just almost have to have faith. Like, it's when people give up. Oh, yeah, I tried that training, I'm not growing. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you've given it a week, or you've given it 2 weeks, or a month. Like, you don't know what's happening. Like, and until you come back down and diet and get back on stage, you can't see what's happened, like, for that year or 2 years. So, like, I say it all the time, that you sort of just got to have a little bit of faith with bodybuilding when you're trying to grow. Do everything right and just trust that shit will add up.
What do you think about because I've done this in the past where I'll hit a body weight in the off season versus like before season. He's gone. That's how he exits. Unbelievable.
He's not Mr. Bean, isn't he? Fucking hell. That could be
so off guard.
If you make a trailer, that's what's going in it.
Oh, that's killed me. What do you think about doing comparisons of body weight off season to off season or prep to prep?
Pretty pointless.
Yeah.
Like, I could go and find pictures, like, and we've all done it. We've all find, like,
yeah, for sure.
You can go and find a picture and go blah blah blah, but the camera angle's a bit different, and that's all. Like, you can zoom in slightly. Like, we can all manipulate things to pretend that this picture shows I've progressed massively.
But unless you're on stage under the lights,
and you can also, there's loads of things you can do, like, to make it, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Fuck's sake, Joe.
Mate, I've done podcasts with nothing on.
I know. Fuck's sake.
It's fucking warm. What can I say?
It caught me off guard. It's not that warm, though.
I'm white.
I'm white. You're the wife beater in underwear. Where's your Pizza Hut and your can of lager? Go with it. Jesus.
You can't have a super dry fucking wife beater.
She misses in the kitchen.
No.
No?
She's actually in pain and enjoying the sunshine.
Anyway, coming back round to it. Yeah, I think it's to a point, it's great and all, but it's nothing more than reassurance, is it? The the idea of comparing pictures. I think that's all it is. It's just
I can go and find pictures now from 4 years ago, and I could put it next to one now, and you probably won't be able to really tell the difference in the picture. But I know, I'm a far better bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Pictures only count for so much, and unless you can, and the problem is such a small amount of just change of an angle or anything. If you had a program that could literally make sure everything was proportional. If you had a measuring stick in the photo and it could literally make sure everything was proportionate. But I see people all the time, they put photos on and they're like, oh, look how much muscle I've gained. I'm like, well, yeah, your ankles are fucking twice the size. They ain't go bigger.
You're a water buffalo.
Always look at the hands. The hands are a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Your hands are fucking massive. So all you've done is zoom in. Or the latest one is they stand closer to the camera. They go, oh, look at this progress picture. This is me last year. This is me this year. Well, yeah, you're fucking a yard closer to the camera. Of course you look bigger.
There's also the classic fisheye lens, isn't there?
Yes.
You have on cameras. So it makes everything up closer to the camera look bigger than everything in the background. So you look bigger, but you're also twice the size of the chair, versus last time. So
I was thinking about, it's funny you say this because I was looking back at some old pictures from 2018, some leg pictures of me, and I thought my legs are better then, but it's not. It's just everything else is so much better now. They don't look so incredible anymore.
Yeah, you had a dominant body part.
You filled in those gaps, so everything looks balanced, which is better for the fucking stage anyway.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm looking at pictures from 3 years ago thinking, my legs were better then. It's not. My upper body was shit, and it's still not great. But
yeah, that's so true. When I first dropped weight when I was 16, those pictures are hilarious because I look like I have a massive fuck off chest and weirdly big forearms, but that's just because I had nothing of anything else. Because all I did was train chest and then do hammer curls a bit, and that was it. So, of course, I look small everywhere else.
Yeah, mate, we're still rinsing the hammer curl train.
Oh, mate, yeah, but we come a long way. A long way. We're doing other bicep exercises, believe it or not.
We got the Ultimate Warrior bands out as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe. Also, when are you back actually training properly?
Next week.
Okay, next week. We'll start back next week because I've been thinking. I was like, so when is Joe actually going to be?
No, I'll be back next week.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I start my, what's it called? Corticant or something like that. It's a
corticosteroid. No.
Well, it is one of those, but it's got a specific name. But it doesn't. Unlike the last lot I had, Trent. No. It doesn't reduce the inflammation everywhere in the body, and which caused me to have really bad negative side effects last time.
Okay.
Shitload of water retention. My back broke out really bad.
Okay.
Sounds a bit suspicious, but
mass inflammation, yeah. And
so it works specifically in the digestive tract. So I got to do one a day. I think it's 7 milligram per day for 60 days. Because the reason the flare-ups happened is because the doctors didn't tell, because people with colitis tend not to put any fucking weight on ever because it takes so much food to actually gain weight. But since January, I've put on 9 kilos. So I was 80 kilos in January, and now I'm 90. And they'd weighed me and given me the dosage for an 80 kilo person. So I explained to the consultant, okay, I've put 9 kilos. Have you been eating too many McDonald's? I was like, no, I'm back training again, and I'm still subpar my usual weight. It's 92 kilos.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, okay. And then I explained everything, and she was like, okay, that's cool. So we're going to have to up the dose by 25 milligram per day, which is a substantial amount for the medication, which it is.
Is it accounted for the fact that you'll probably gain more weight as well?
So they have to assess as it goes.
Okay.
So the next one isn't until I'm 100 kilos, and because I'm starting like a little 4-week little fucking tidy up phase for the holiday, I won't be touching 100 kilo for a fucking while anyway.
Yeah, I can't wait to see 100 kilo Joe.
I'm just kind of like a big pale cloud.
I can't wait, mate. It's gonna be great.
I'm gonna send a message to Dan McNabb saying you're big pale nasty, I'm big pale cloud.
It'll get to the point where if we take a picture next to each other, it'll just look weird, won't it?
Yeah.
You'll be incredibly pale. I'll actually have a tan.
Yeah. Mate, I'm hoping these some sunbeds do good.
Yeah, hopefully you won't look like the Michelin Man forever. Hopefully.
Yeah, Matt, are you aware, is melanotan banned on the WADA list?
I think it might be.
Okay.
I believe so, because it increases red blood cell production, so probably.
Yeah.
Casper forever, right?
Well, I think
you need some anyway. It'd be good for you if you got low iron, and you.
Yeah.
Brilliant for you. You need some and a tan, like.
You need all of it.
Like,
I think you could probably get away with it.
I won't be able to start. But I have no interest in competing. I've told you, I've said it on the podcast before. But I have no interest in competing UK DFBA and UK.
Doesn't want to compete with all the natties.
With Jermaine is the only reason I want to step on stage. It'd be something fun to look forward to with us competing together as juniors, because it was supposed to happen 2 years ago, and then I got sick. So it'd be nice to do. But other than that, I have no real interest in competing with the natty fed, to be honest. It's just been a prolonged.
Well, just do it and then get banned retrospectively.
Just do it as a fuck you.
That's rock and roll, mate.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Go on there and then fail the drugs test afterwards.
I'd be down for
an
that.
Absolute baller.
Yeah,
I'll get a photographer for the show.
And that was your plan all along.
Yeah.
Never planned to win.
Then, if I don't place, I'm fucked. So
I bet that'll be a subversion of expectations. Everyone's always like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm natty. I swear." You're like, "No, I'm not natty, but I am doing this show, and I'm getting it filmed and all the pictures taken."
Well, did you see the pictures Jack Fulburn posted from when he was like 17?
Yeah.
I was like, is that Jeff's side? And he was like, mate, I was on all the what the fuck were they called?
What?
Not SARMs. What were they? Pro hormones.
Yeah. Unreal.
He looks bigger then than he is now. So.
Isn't that funny? But I think that's also, you've got to bear in mind, that was him being shredded.
Yeah.
And all that jazz. That's the thing. Natties, when natties are shredded, they just look twice the size for some reason.
Yeah.
Like my pictures look fucking ridiculous. Some of the pictures I took, I actually look like, and to the point where I remember this is how I ended up speaking to Phil Samakis in the first place, because he messaged me because he thought I was doing PCA Classic physique with him.
Yeah.
But I was like, I had to explain to him, no, I'm half the size of you, mate. I'm not doing that. So
yeah.
That's good, man. It's good that your health's getting back on track. So
fingers crossed it should actually, because prior to that, like as my weight was a bit lower, everything was fine, as you know.
Yeah.
Like, strength was getting better, composition was way better. So fingers crossed. And if I put body weight on, I'll just increase the dose.
Yeah. 100 kilos incoming.
I fucking hope not. I don't want to have a heart attack on the plane.
Oh dear. Yeah, it'll be on the way back. You'll hit 100 kilos from the buffets.
Well, the problem, it's all inclusive, right? Fingers crossed it goes ahead. So the plan is to just raid the all inclusive. Okay, I can see the top of my ab. I'm lean enough. It's time to have a cardiac arrest. It's fine, you know.
Oh dear. Matt, I think we say this every time, but definitely on the agenda to come by your gym.
Yeah.
Especially
you'll be heading up back that way soon.
Yeah.
Right?
So that makes sense as well, because I'll be around that area probably.
You're moving back to Sheffield, aren't you?
I am indeed. Looking at potentially getting a place before the end of this year between Sheffield and Rotherham. That way I have like pretty easy access to all the gyms around that region, because there's quite a few. And I'll have easy access to motorways and stuff as well, so I can travel up and down and make my way around that way.
Yeah.
Well, you're always welcome at mine. Just let me know.
Good stuff. Well, I actually do intend to arrange a session with you, Matt, if possible, at some point. I think that'd be great.
What would ideally be great would, if you're moving back up, I'll come up and spend like a weekend at yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I get the train direct from here to Grimsby way, it's like £95 with a rail card.
Okay. Fucking rail cards, man.
Yeah.
Good
It'd
stuff.
only be for a day pass as well.
It will definitely be a leg session, because I feel like that's the best use of time with Matt, if possible.
Come do it.
Yeah, I think he knows.
84 sets. Yeah.
I think Matt knows that I've made a mistake by saying that, but I'll dig my own grave and sleep in it. Oh dear. Yeah.
Make it soon before I get.
No, this was the plan all along.
I don't want to get too far gone in prep.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Well, we'll get Joe. We'll get Damien as well to film it.
Oh, that'd be great. Actually.
We'll wait until Matt's just so depleted that we can sort of give him a run for his money as much as possible.
I never give up on leg days. Sorry.
I know. I'm still gonna vomit either way.
What's your favourite piece of leg kit in your gym, Matt?
I know you don't like Watson. That's all I know.
What's that?
I know you don't like Watson kit. That's all I really know.
No, not really. I think I'm torn actually between 3 bits. Like obviously Cybex hack, love it.
Yeah. Is that version 1 or?
Yeah, same as ours. Yeah.
Okay.
The seated the hammer strength leg press, the hip press.
Yeah. The linear, is it that?
Yeah, the one that swings.
Yeah, I've not used one yet. I really want to. I know there's one at MJ's, not far from Katie and Worcester, so I might go for a day pass, try it.
And pendulum squat, which I'm actually in the process of making my own.
Oh, good stuff. I've seen a lot of people making them at home, to be fair.
So
this one's not made out of wood.
The best pendulum squat ever made was the Paramount pendulum squat.
Okay.
There's one at Emporium. Have you used it?
No.
Best pendulum squat ever, and they stopped making them well before pendulum squats became popular.
Yeah.
And then obviously in the last 4 or 5 years have made a resurgence.
Yeah.
And I think most of the Paramount pendulum squats have just been chucked in the bin. I've been trying to get hold of one for ages and I can't. A couple have come up in America and they're like $5,000.
Yeah, Jesus.
Before shipping and stuff, because they're just so rare. So I've got a friend who owns a gym in Lincoln and he's got one. So my dad, who's an engineer, we went down there and he spent 2 hours drawing it all up, and it's now, I posted on Instagram actually, it's been put onto the computer and all the fabrication drawings have been done today, and I'm getting my own made.
That's sick.
Awesome.
It is the pendulum squat I've got at the minute is like a Chinese copy of
the Paramount,
but I think they just made it based on what it looks like.
Yeah, as opposed to the specs,
as opposed to like the exact sort of specification.
However, give it a name. What are you gonna call it?
Well, just muscle flex. Like I'm gonna
Tofton squat.
The Tofton squat, yeah, something like that.
You got the tap, now you got the squat.
You gotta put the name on it.
So yeah, like the movement, like even the one I've got now is far better than like the Watson one, the Atlantis one.
Yeah.
All of the current pendulum squats are being made. They're being made way too small. They're too compact, and it almost turns it into basically a hack squat movement, a 45-degree hack squat. And that's why everyone's got fuck knees, because people are smashing the shit out of pendulum squats, but they're all made of there's no actual pendulum movement.
Yeah. That's why I don't use it.
You're actually supposed to go sort of down and then underneath yourself like a pendulum.
Yeah.
Whereas these are just like 45 degrees down.
Yeah.
Bringing your knees over your toes and all that jazz. Yeah.
They're all just made fucking badly. So
what everyone's going on about that true squat, aren't they, at the minute?
I'm trying to get hold of one of them.
Yeah. I know there's one where Robbie trains at the minute.
Pestering someone I know.
Is it an Ultraflex gym?
Oh no, Shreds.
The Shreds.
Okay.
Shreds have got one.
I want to try it.
It looks really, really nice. You can't really fucking cheat on that movement. So
I still see people fucking cheating on it.
There's definitely people pushing on their knees and all sorts. Yeah. I'd be intrigued to see what that's like.
Well, yeah, I know someone who's got one at the minute, and I'm bugging them to maybe try and get one, but
I don't.
Go on.
I was gonna say, I wonder. I wonder is which is actually going to be more of a challenge to actually perform the exercise. Will it be like, because in my opinion, the hack squat is king in terms of being a challenging leg movement.
Cybex is,
yeah. How's that? I want to know
what the Atlantis fucking leg press hack squat.
Yeah, I just want to know how that's going to hold up. Like, is that going to hold up a candle against it, and see what that's actually like? Because I've heard a lot of hype about it, but I've not used one yet. So
the thing is, like, the true squats are dead old. Like, they don't make them anymore. They're old as fuck. Like, there's just things that obviously, like, rare bits that people are starting to. It's probably because people are maybe I'm probably getting a bit wishful, like not caring about what they fucking lift anymore. And actually picking movements that stimulate the muscle.
Yeah.
So something like a true squat, people are actually thinking, actually, if I do this properly, this fucking hammers my quads. And I can really, really...
Well, stuff comes back into fashion, right? I guess.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's like SAS has had a massive boom in the scene fucking recently. Like, we've been having podcasts with you for over a year.
Yeah.
And it's not the first time I was introduced to SAS. Like, I've known people that have seen him compete when he was an amateur. And I've always raved on about how he's always stuck by the similar methodologies that he's always used. But it's only like now people are jumping ship from whoever to SAS for some reason.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's actually a good question, Matt. If you could pick any one coach from the UK as a coach to go for a pro card, who would you pick? Obviously, I think you have an easy choice, but
I'll pick obviously SAS because that's I have picked SAS. Like, I put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
There would be. I wouldn't work with anybody else.
Yeah, because I do think this sometimes, because people have asked me in the past, they're like, do you still plan on working with AJ?
Yeah.
And like, obviously in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, the idea of me getting back with AJ has always been on the cards and still is, to go ahead and do another prep. But who would I pick otherwise, other than the one person who's coached me before? So that's an interesting question, because I personally, I don't think I actually really know who I'd actually pick to coach me.
There's a lot of people doing the same thing as one another.
Yeah.
Right now at the minute. I'm sure you'd agree.
Look,
there's not,
like, my sort of opinion with coaching, and when you're picking a coach, it's not necessarily what they do or you have to agree with their methods.
Yeah.
For like, no point in going to someone if you can't buy into what they're doing, because from day one you're going to be butting heads and just thinking it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So if like me, if I went to someone who was like, you're going to have to logbook and do this, that's fucking pointless, because it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, I would just not be coachable to that person.
You have been there before though, right?
Yeah, like, I used to do that all the time, but now, like, what I'm saying is, like, now with my mindset, so the way you go forward, like, either be very, if you're new to bodybuilding, be very open-minded.
Yeah.
Like, right, try this, try that. But if you know that like you just don't like a certain method of training, even if it is maybe slightly better. If every session, like I made a post about this the other day, like if you go with the attitude to the gym, oh, I don't want to do this, your effort levels will be different. There is a definite buy-in factor. You will get better results doing an inferior type of training if you want to do that type of training. Like, rather than something that, oh, this is scientifically proven to give you more muscle.
Yeah, but if you don't believe it, then you're not.
Like, oh, but yeah, like I say, I don't believe it will. So even if you like a bro split and you believe a bro split's better, even though someone can prove that it's not, you'll still get better results on a bro split because you bought into it and you'll train harder. And it does have a lot of carryover. But in terms of coaching, it's more, for me anyway, the relationship between the coach. Like, I think I've improved so much under SAS because he gets more out of me than anyone ever has done. And that's just down to how we get on. That's not down to necessarily how much food he's putting me on or what drugs he's putting me on. It's the fact that possibly on the days where I don't want to do it for myself, I will do it for him. Like, I don't want to let him down. So if I'm having a shit day, if I was with another coach I couldn't give a shit about, I would just toss it off. Like, I'm having a bad day, so I'm eating this or I'm doing this. But I actually want to, one of the reasons I actually decided to go for the pro card is because I want to be the first person to win one under SAS. I mean, someone might beat me to it in a show, but that was, I spoke to him, and that was one of the deciding factors that I sort of wanted to do it for me and for him. And I think that's very important with a coach. If you have to get on, and I guess there's levels, like obviously I'm experienced. So for me, it's more of a communication thing. It's not just do this, do this, do this. Like we communicate and we discuss. Eventually he will have the last word, but we will discuss. I guess if you're not experienced, it's going to be more of a sort of like dictatorship, if that's the right word to use.
No, for sure. It's going to be a bit more of, okay, I call the shots, sit back and be on the ride with me, and that's it.
But if the person can't buy into it, or if they think that this coach is a wanker, it won't work, no matter how good. Like you say, that everyone's doing the same. Like, there is no special shit. Like, and people
PPL is not the be end and end all.
Like, people find out, like, there's a massive thing for like Patrick Tour. Like, he's not a fucking magician. Like, he doesn't know more than someone else knows.
He does a lot of stuff which is similar, to be fair, to a lot of other people. And
I think he's got a thing where he gets on very well. And again, it's probably a thing where James has improved under him, because I think James gets on well with him. And that's, he goes that extra mile. And then obviously everyone's just thought, oh, if I go with Patrick, I can beat James Hollingshead, which is bollocks. But there aren't coaches that have this special secret that no one else knows. It's just whether you can get on with, like, you see people go with Aceto, and if you can get on with his style of coaching, you'll get great results. But a lot of people hate him because it's one word, good. Like, I think that's brilliant. But a lot of people need a kiss and a cuddle every week or every check-in. Oh, you look amazing. They need smoke blowing up their ass. And I think that's the problem with the newer type of people coming into this industry. Like, they good, carry on. That's not good enough anymore. Like, people, oh, my coach don't care about me. Like, well, you're doing everything fucking right. Like that's all the feedback you need. Like, if my coach says to me, brilliant, carry on, I'm buzzing.
I've had this before where I ended up not working with a client anymore because of those sort of factors, because of there was someone who was getting into this with the expectation of something else and expecting changes almost weekly. And it's like, no. That's not how are you meant to know something works? And a lot of people can't wrap their heads around that. So is what is. I agree. I think if I could pick like a training ethos of a coach, it'd be someone who would give tough love, like would be willing to say, mate, I'm not gonna lie to you, you look a bit shit today. Like, I prefer that. I want that as opposed to anything else. The criticism is needed, you know.
Of course, at the end of the day, you're going to get on stage in your pants, and someone's going to do that. So you need to know, like, if someone says telling you look great when you fucking don't, like, a coach is not doing their job if they just like they don't. Oh yeah, just carry on. Like, yeah, brilliant. Then you get on stage and the coach said, "Well, you're fucking fat." Like, well, my coach said I looked amazing. Well, your coach is a liar. So
yeah,
no coach like worth anything.
Yeah.
Like dresses shit up and pretends like you say, you need someone, you're paying them to be your eye.
Yeah.
Like for me, like a lot of the stuff, like I've coached myself many times. But the point where shit hits the fan and you can't think straight is where you need someone with a good eye to be able to look and step back and sort of be quite objective about it and say, right, you need to do this, this, and this, because you're not in a place to make decisions. But if they say, oh yeah, you look brilliant, just keep going, like that don't help anyone.
Yeah.
They'll say, right, you're fat, like
yeah,
get on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So who are you picking as your coach then? If it was someone else, you can go anyone in the world. Anyone in the world.
Oh, anyone in the world. Shit me. If there's anyone in the world, God, I think knowing what I'm like, obviously I have an S&C background, and I'm very big into that objective style of going about things. So I think possibly Mountain Dog, or maybe even John Jewett or someone like that, who has that sort of like their experience comes from that background, so it would mesh quite well with me, I think. But also there's like a level of bro science to an extent where they've obviously got a ton of like years and decades of experience mixed in, which I think is important as well. So I think probably someone like that. If I could pick anyone, probably Mountain Dog. That'd probably be my pick.
I think my second choice is has to never fire me. Mainly out of curiosity, I think I'd go with Chad Nichols.
Okay, yeah.
I know someone who was coached by him for 9 months. Simon Brooker was coached by him, Jermaine.
Oh, was he? I had no clue.
For 9 months and progressed a lot. And contrary to what people believe, like I pushes everything super high and things like that. Comparative to what he was doing previous, it was barely any different. I know he's not working with them anymore. He's working with Justin Compton now.
Yeah.
So from what I've seen, as we said earlier, like no one's really doing anything particularly mind blowing.
I would actually be intrigued to know what Chad Nichols is like as a coach, I think, as well. I think mainly probably like due to the people he has coached previously, realistically. That's why I'm intrigued. Like what sort of mindset goes with like a Ronnie Coleman type character or something like that, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying now. It was just more like a curiosity thing. I think if I had to pick a second choice, but other than that, there's no one that I think I'd go with.
Well, we're waiting on that. If it ever happens, we'll know about it. We'll know where you're going.
Well, if that fires me.
Yeah. We'll know. Right, shall we wrap it up there, gentlemen? We've been for quite a while. Thank you, Matt, for coming on again, as always. It's a pleasure. And we'll look to potentially in the next couple of months coming to your ends and training with you. That could be
Wednesday. Wednesday's quad day, so
Wednesday is
make it Wednesday. We'll make a day of it.
Excellent. Yeah.
Show us the wonderful tours of Grimsby as well.
Yeah.
Fortunately, you don't have to go into Grimsby. I'm just outside.
Thank God. Yeah.
I've never been that far up north, so I don't know.
Do you mean?
Genuinely, I've never been.
Yeah, he's a fucking proper southerner.
I've never been any further north than Liverpool. So.
Well, I'm not as north as Liverpool.
Oh yeah, he isn't.
Actually, probably.
It's like
actually, if the globe
there's a groove
of the twist, I'm probably slightly, but yeah, you're not pushing it. You're not going to get a nosebleed.
To be fair, like Sheffield is bottom of the north where I'm from, so I'm on the edge as well.
No.
But yeah, no, yeah, we'll come up and we'll make a day of it, and yeah, have a session and
Anything you want to plug, Matt?
yeah.
What's that?
Anything you want to plug?
Actually, I should plug something.
Go on. Oh,
Because I've got an app, haven't I?
Yes.
Hey,
I was waiting for
there
this.
it
This
is.
was where I was leading when I said, "What have you been up to in the last 7 months?" You know.
Yeah, the Elite Muscle Network, which is a subscription app full of bodybuilding sort of information. Following, I mean, I'm logging all my prep on there. I've got training videos and things like that. We've got Dave Crossland on there, who's our drugs expert. We've got Richard Foster on there, who's our supplements expert. We've got rehab guys on there doing videos. So, and it's a social media platform. So the main aim, it's sort of like Facebook for bodybuilding, fitness industry type thing, to try and get away from the bullshit of Instagram. So you can sort of join, get your own profile and things like that, do your own training logs, interact with on there, and then we'll put in more and more content up and try, and I'm obviously filming all my prep and lots of training sessions at the minute. We're at Fit Expo in a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's me and Tyler Cook. They're doing that. So yeah, it's slow and steady. It's picking up every so often. Obviously, the more people we get on there, the more interaction there is. Obviously, social media platforms sort of need people.
Yeah, funnily enough. Yeah.
But yeah, it's good, and we're not trying to. We just wanted to do something cool, to be honest. And right now, I'd say it's pretty slow and just slowly picking up.
Yeah.
But we'll just keep cracking away, and in a year's time or a couple of years' time, hopefully it'll be quite big, and we can have a lot of people associated with it, and get some other people involved, and content from some pros and things like that.
Good stuff.
So yeah, if you want to check it out, you can get a free 5-day trial. It's just on the App Store, Play Store, whatever, Elite Muscle Network. So yeah, I actually have something to plug for once.
Yeah, exciting. Exciting stuff. All right then. Joe, you want to?
We'll have you on again anyway very soon, I presume.
Always willing to come on.
Always.
I should be lean then.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Every so often when the face comes in.
That's what we do. We do one with fat face, one with thin face. Go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in the middle at the minute. To be fair, it didn't go too bad this year.
No?
I've actually stayed, considering sort of like now I'm 250. I've done all right with the face this year.
You think you're the leanest you've ever been at the show last year, though?
Difficult.
Okay. We'll leave it on that. There you go.
I think you were the best. Let's leave it at that. You were the best.
I was definitely the best look I've ever had. Maybe 2018, I was
pink trunk.
I was very lean, yeah. But I pushed too hard on that prep, so I probably was a bit stringy. And I was also very lean at my first ever show. I was more dry then. I think, I don't know, it's difficult, but I want to be, this year when I get on stage, I want people to be like, what the fuck's that?
Caucasian dry.
I think that's how lean I'm going to have to be if I want to win a pro. I have to be something that there'll be more muscle, definitely, like 100% guaranteed. I'll be bigger, I'll be better. But I think I need to be so lean that everyone's attention is sort of drawn to it. There's a difference between sort of what I've done in the past and trying to win a pro card at an Arnold Classic. So everything's got to be like, I'm probably going to have to push a little bit harder and make it a little bit nastier, and we'll get it done. We always do.
Yes.
But I've got 18 weeks, and I'm in a good spot right now. I feel real good, and I'm very positive that the look's going to be a lot better than it has been in the past.
We're excited to see it, man. We're excited to see it.
Me too.
Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you guys for listening and watching the Off the Script podcast with Matt Tofton, myself, Jermaine, and Joe. And we'll see you guys next time.